Now, amid the renewed strikes by Israel and the US, Iran is stepping up its retaliatory attacks on American assets across the region. From military facilities to consulates, American assets have come under threat from Iranian missiles and drones. So far, Iranian retaliatory attacks on American bases have been reported in Iraq, Kuwait, Jordan, Bahrain, Qatar, the UAE, Saudi Arabia. Those attacked, including the Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, which is, by the way, the largest US base in the region. Also the Al Dhafra Air Base in the UAE, the US Navy's 5th Fleet Headquarters in Bahrain, the Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia, and the Erbil Air Base in Iraq. US Logistics Base in Kuwait, the Jebel Ali Port in the UAE have also been hit. That's what the map looks like as of now. Not just military facilities, even diplomatic hubs have come under attack. So far, the US consulate in Dubai, Riyadh, and Kuwait City have been struck by Iranian drones. And the attacks have prompted the US to close its embassies in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Lebanon. And as the attacks escalate, the US is feeling the heat. It has already issued evacuation orders for non-emergency personnel in Bahrain and Jordan. It has also urged American citizens across 14 countries in West Asia to leave immediately as the war spirals across the region. So far, 6 American personnel have also been killed. Reports suggesting the US has lost nearly $2 billion worth of military assets in the 5 days of this war. And among the most significant losses being the $1.1 billion early warning radar system at the Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar. Another significant loss has been the radar associated with the THAAD missile defense system in the UAE's base. As Iran hits back relentlessly, the US and Israel, meanwhile, intensifying their attack on Iranian missile bases in a bid to try and blunt Tehran's counterattacks. The US also claiming it has hit several Iranian ballistic missile facilities, degrading Tehran's missile capability. But cheap Iranian suicide drones, especially the Shahed drones, emerging as a bigger problem for the United States. The cost-to-kill ratio is heavily skewed in Iran's favor. Drone swarms can overwhelm radar systems, forcing the US to burn through its limited inventory of high-end interceptors. US intelligence is reportedly preparing to arm Kurdish militias in a bid to spark a popular uprising inside Iran's western provinces, a move that Washington reportedly hopes will weaken the country from within. And according to reports, the CIA is in active discussions with Iranian Kurdish opposition factions and leaders based in Iraq's Kurdistan region about supplying weapons and support for operations against Iranian security forces. The Kurdish armed groups already have thousands of fighters, remember, deployed along the Iraq-Iran border. Several have reportedly issued statements in recent days, signaling that they may soon act, and have even called for defections from Iran's army. And on Tuesday, Iran's powerful Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps said it has struck Kurdish positions with drone attacks, perhaps a clear message from Tehran that it will not tolerate any expansion of hostilities on its western flank. And amid all of this, US President Donald Trump has reportedly personally spoken with the Kurdish political leaders, including the head of the Democratic Party of Iranian Kurdistan, reportedly as part of the broader coordination on military strategy. The Democratic Party of Iranian Kurdistan is one of the groups reportedly targeted by the IRGC. So could the US be trying to engage Kurdish forces with the Iranian troops in the West, drawing Tehran's focus away from major cities and potentially creating openings for internal revolt? But even as Washington pushes forward, a critical question remains. Will the Kurds take these arms and actually act? Or will they simply end up holding weapons with little more than token engagements? You see, any effort to arm the Kurdish fighters will basically depend on cooperation from Iraqi Kurdish authorities. Reportedly, who control the territory that weapons would transit and use as potential staging grounds. Kurdish rebels have for years opposed Iran and carried out various attacks, especially in Iran's Kurdistan province. as well as other Western provinces. The Kurdish people are an ethnic minority without an independent state. An estimated 25 to 30 million Kurds live across a region spanning parts of Turkey, Iraq, Iran, Syria, and Armenia. Most are Sunni Muslims, though Kurdish communities reflect diverse cultural and political traditions. Kurds achieved a degree of self-rule only in Iraq, where the semi-autonomous Kurdistan regional government governs the north. The United States has worked closely with the Kurdish forces for decades, and they were central to U.S. efforts against ISIS in Iraq as well as Syria.
United States and Israel continue to pound Iran following the assassination of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. If they harbored any hopes of capitulation by Tehran, it has clearly proved otherwise. Iran's massive counteroffensive in West Asia has clearly rattled America. Speaking with CNN, the U.S. president made it clear that America was taken by surprise by Iran's attacks on Arab nations. He also claimed that these countries were now insisting on getting involved in the war. Since the beginning of the war on the 28th of February, Iran has attacked U.S. military bases, hotels, airports, and even a refinery across 11 countries in West Asia, ranging from Cyprus to Oman. One of Iran's key targets so far has been the Israeli city of Beth Shemesh, which was hit by a missile, resulting in considerable destruction and the death of 9 people. Tehran's attack was not restricted to America alone. The British base in Akrotiri, Cyprus, was hit by a drone strike. Saudi Arabia has also been engulfed in the war with strikes on the U.S. Embassy and the Ras Tanura oil refinery. Meanwhile, other American military installations such as Ali Al Salem Air Base in Kuwait and the Al Dhafra Air Base in the UAE have been targeted as well. Even premier hotels in Dubai such as Fairmont, The Palm and Burj Al Arab were not spared and bore the brunt of Iranian strikes. Earlier in the day, residents of Riyadh heard a loud blast and witnessed flames at the U.S. Embassy after an attack by 2 Iranian drones. Black smoke was seen rising over Riyadh's diplomatic quarter, which houses foreign missions. Saudi Arabia has taken a strong stance. It not only issued a strong condemnation of this strike, calling it cowardly and unjustified, but also announced that it can exercise the option of responding to Iran's aggression. Trump has also vowed retaliation for this attack that has caused a minor damage. Meanwhile, Oman, which mediated between Iran and United States, witnessed yet another attack with drones targeting the port of Duqm on Oman's eastern coast. As per reports, the drones struck a fuel tank. This, remember, marked the second attack at this port in a period of just 3 days. In the previous drone attack, a worker was injured. The country also reportedly intercepted 2 drones in Dhofar, while a third drone crashed in the vicinity of the Salalah port. The UAE, too, has faced a barrage of attacks so far. In fact, in a latest incident, a fire broke out at an oil industry zone in Fujairah as a result of falling debris from an intercepted drone. However, no injuries were reported and the fire was brought under control. So far, UAE has claimed to have successfully intercepted 161 ballistic missiles, 8 cruise missiles and 645 drones from Iran. Previously, Fairmont The Palm Hotel on Dubai's landmark Palm Jumeirah caught fire, reportedly caused by the falling debris from an Iranian missile.
Holy motherfucker. Vas-y, j'ai envie de dire à Sarah de descendre.
Both Dubai International Airport and Abu Dhabi Zayed International Airport were struck in attacks by Iran as well, leaving at least 1 person dead and 11 others injured. On the other hand, Tehran conducted strikes on the Naval Support Activity Base in Bahrain's capital, Manama, which is, remember, home to headquarters of the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet. There has been a major escalation in Qatar as well. The country's military allegedly thwarted Iran's attempts to attack Doha's Hamad International Airport by shooting down its missiles. Iran's attack on West Asian countries has now raised the prospect of them potentially siding with Israel and United States against Iran. For instance, the Gulf Cooperation Council, or the GCC, foreign ministers held a meeting in which they stressed that the option to respond to Iranian attacks remains on the table. Speaking with Fox News, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu hinted at better ties between his country and nations like Saudi Arabia.
And I think peace between Israel and Saudi Arabia would be really possible and probably very close once this thing happens. So this is a gateway for peace, for a broader peace, and I believe that we can achieve it.
With Iran's unrelenting attacks in West Asia, it remains to be seen whether it triggers a cycle of retaliation or compels both sides to return to the negotiating table.